James, a lot of moving parts diplomatically to Syria and what should be the next steps to be taken.
Yes, and there are events going on underway right now as we speak, Doreen. We can show you, I think, these pictures which show the chamber of the UN Security Council, a scheduled meeting about to take place. They're going to be discussing Haiti. But just outside that chamber, just along the corridor and away from the cameras, there is another meeting taking place behind a closed door, not very far away from where you're seeing those people in the room. And that's the meeting just of the 5 permanent members of the Security Council. Their ambassadors are meeting. This was called by the British. It's after the British Prime Minister David Cameron said he was going to come up with a resolution on Syria, one last try and get the UN Security Council to support some sort of action after the chemical weapons attacks. Well, the UK have called together the 5 ambassadors of those permanent members, and they're trying to explain to them why they should support this draft resolution. If they manage to convince those ambassadors, then I think you'll see the issue brought before this main chamber. You might even see a vote on the idea. I have to say, I don't think that is very likely, because I think the Russians are going to be deeply opposed, as they have been throughout the last 2.5 years to all of this. At the same time, we have the UN weapons inspectors on the ground continuing their work, and the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon has been speaking about their mission.
The use of chemical weapons by anyone for any reasons under any circumstances would be an atrocious violation of international law. It is essential to establish the fact. A United Nations investigation team is now on the ground to do just that. Just days after the attacks, they have collected valuable samples and interviewed victims and witnesses. The team needs time to do its job.
James, you were referring just a moment ago to these live pictures from the United Nations Security Council. I do believe that we have them right now, so I'm going to show them to our viewers, James. And you were also talking about the UK having meetings with the permanent 5. But the truth is there are serious divisions within the Security Council members on the way forward in Syria.
There are serious divisions on the way forward. Yes, I've been able to see these pictures for some time. You can see them now, the ambassadors gathering there. But the 5 ambassadors of the permanent members, they'll be a little bit late. The meeting might start a little bit late because they are having this very important, crucial meeting in a very small office just down the corridor as this last effort is made by the British. Because remember, the British have to take this to their parliament. So I think they want to show the parliament and the people of the UK that they made every last effort. But I think it's highly unlikely that Russia would support some sort of tough resolution that supported military action at this stage. And we know that while all this diplomatic work is going on, there is also another timeline, and that's the military making their preparations, putting everything in place in case President Obama, and it looks likely he might do this, will bypass the UN, forget the UN, say, well, there's a UN Security Council, but there's something much more important, and that's moral authority to act when something terrible happens. And he will say that an international norm was violated by the use of chemical weapons.